I like a good-looking sports watch that lays elegantly on the eye, fitting snugly under the sleeve so it doesn't radiate attention, making you pose like Thor with the wind in your long hair, and in slow motion, of course, with powerful lightning strikes. Nice and quiet. Don't even hear the ticking from the quartz second hand. Just peaceful, lovely, hearing of nature gently upon the ear. Well, that's ruined that romance. So here is my vintage SEIKO Quartz with a Thunderous bell-matic alarm. Born in 1980 on the month of May. Charcoal matte dial with applied markers and SEIKO logo. The dial also includes 1980s fluff and matter, adding some nostalgia. With a date window and 2 day crowns. 2 crowns? Yes, 2 crowns! Discreet, yet has usefulness in daily activities. Square mineral crystal with reduced AR coating with further reduction to 0 coating. Vivid minute and hour hands with the second hand chasing them around the clock. There's even a tiny hole under the 12 o'clock position, so guessing that's where the cuckoo alarm comes from. Unusual caseback with more holes for coups with a easy battery escape hatch. Please welcome the 7223-6020. Considering this is over 40 years old, it's in not bad condition. I was very lucky to find it in this state, especially with the original box, and also that the bracelet fits my 7.5 inch. So I'm very lucky on that side. The only downside is that the dial is full of disgusting matter. So I've got my finger doms on because I will be sort of going into the movement here and removing all that dust, or as best I can. I do have a second one as well, would you believe it? But this is in a very poorly condition because look at that crystal. It's been replaced and look at the bubbles underneath, and also the movement doesn't work, and the battery compartment was actually full with alien battery acid or juice. Where should I start on this delightful piece? I think I would start with the bracelet, as that is quite a big feature, and of the design is very much there suited to the sort of late 70s and 80s in my opinion. I like how it tapers from the lug and goes all the way to that lovely clasp. I mean, look at the finish on that. It's not brushed. It's just very, what would you say? This sort of satin, a nice satin finish on there. And then it's got the SQ with the SEIKO, SQ being the SEIKO Quartz. So let's open up the clasp. Very, very stiff, which is great, or firm. And there it is, all polished inside. And this bracelet is all Japanese made. Nice and firm. The actual bracelet, or the links, are fold over, and towards the clasp side they've actually got these little pins, and these are used to adjust the bracelet. And I was really lucky to find the bracelet actually fits my 7.5 inch wrist, which is very unusual, especially for something that this age. So looking on the front here, the bezel is really, really thin there, but it's got a sort of a nice edge on there as well. Look, you can see it's nicely polished, and on the top part of the case here it's got this polished line, and the rest is all brushed, and this goes for both sides. So the back side of the case it has these little grooves here. There's 4 in total, and this is basically to allow the thunderous alarm to escape, and that's why it's so loud. You can undo the battery compartment with a little coin, which makes it very convenient for battery replacements. The actual case of the watch is quite slender. The only bulk is really on that bezel and on the back case. And the lugs are very short indeed, but because of the end links on the bracelet, you're sort of having that shape there, but it is very comfy on the wrist. And there's a quick glimpse of the other side. You can really see the brushing on that, can't you? All right, let's get more into the dial. And I just want to add that where it's written alarm and quartz, it sort of has this sort of mirror sort of finish here. This is attached to the actual crystal, and this is why on this one, because this is an aftermarket crystal, that the backing is showing these bubbles here, where on this one you can see that this actual mirror is actually applied to the crystal, so it gives it that finish, so you don't see the adhesive underneath. Then there is the chapter ring here, and this is all part of the alarm. This all moves when you're adjusting, which I will come back to. Then you have the lovely applied markers, and at the 12 you have a double applied marker, which is really nice. And then you have the SEIKO badge, and quartz is printed. Then you have the SQ badge, which is applied, and underneath you have the Thor Thunderbolt. Then the main dial itself is a really nice charcoal. Now the hands aren't loomed, they just have this applied white sort of paint, and it's applied also on the second hand, so it really does pop out, and it's actually a really nice compact looking watch, and with this sort of vivid red side here, it just makes it more interesting, don't you think? Right, let's get a little bit into the movement. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the middle crown out, and it has 2 positions. So that's the first position, and then the final position hacks. So let's just turn the time forward, and let's have a look, see where the date changes. This will be quite interesting. I must say the movement is actually of very high quality when you look inside. Now that's changing the numbers already, and it's snapping quite close to 12 o'clock, and then it should start having the day of the week, and there it is. And yes, it's in French. And when does it slip over to the second language? There we go, it goes round about sort of 3 o'clock, and then you have Saturday is in blue. Now, if I was to push the crown into the first position, I can adjust the date like so. So that is Saturday, and then Sunday is in red. There we go, that's in French, and then back on Monday, and then going anti-clockwise changes the dates like so. Nice and sort of snappy like so, and then just push the crown back in. Now the second crown here is all to do with the alarm, but before I go much further into the alarm, I just want to mention the little cuckoo hole up here at the 12 o'clock position. No, it's not for a cuckoo, I was joking. This is an actual alarm indicator, and it works on 2 ways. So let me sort of give you the first demonstration. The crown here, the alarm adjustment crown, has 2 positions. The first position will make a beep, and this is to arm the alarm, and then it turns blue. But when you want to adjust the alarm, you pull it out to the final position, it turns red. So it's nice that it gives you this indication, or this warning indication, that you do have the crown fully out, because if you do accidentally move it, you can see that you can adjust the alarm. So I do like that. But how does the alarm work? Well, you basically takes a little bit of guessing. You sort of got to calculate it. If you are on the hour, looking on this marker here, you just basically line it up through the center there. So say for an example, you want 1 o'clock, I will have it in that marker there. So once your hour hand reaches the hour marker and then the minute hand reaches the 12, and of course when the seconds catch up there, it will tone the alarm. Now it's not easy to do it sort of live behind the camera. So I'm going to set this up for 1 o'clock and give you a demonstration of how the alarm sounds. I've got the time set, so it's coming up to the 1 o'clock. There's the timer still sitting there. The icon there, the alarm icon, is on blue, so it's activated. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to let it run, but I'm going to explain when it comes to sound the alarm, it's going to make a little chirp first. Then after about 4 or 5 seconds, the first part of the alarm sounds. And then when it gets to another sort of 5 or so seconds after, it now emits an even louder alarm, and this will go on for about 30 seconds. So I'm not going to talk over it, because sort of to sit around and wait for it is quite it's quite of a hit and miss. So I thought I'd just explain that now. So now you're going to see it going off. How cool and loud was that? And did you notice it got even louder around here? So it made the chirp at 12 o'clock, then the alarm came on about there, then it got louder there, and then the most loudest right there, and then it continued right past the 30 seconds. Just like to point out that any time while the alarm is sounding, that you can push the crown down, you turn that off to black, and then that's it. Otherwise, it will continue for the next sort of 12 hours. So it's only a 12-hour alarm. I've found a little hack where I can force the alarm to go off. And I've also want to show you the comparison between this and say one of the latest G-Shocks, just to show you how loud they are with their decibels. So let's get science about this and get the decibel meter out on the iPad. So what did I discover? Well, with some playing around, I found out that by pulling the crown out into the most outer position, so you turn it on red, and then pull the crown out so you hack the time, will force the alarm. Now, I only found this out by turning the chapter ring with both crowns turned out. So what I do, I go all the way around and then just show you how sort of sensitive it is. You know, the crown keeps popping back in. Right, let's sort of slow it down there. Oh, there we go. And now I've forced the alarm to go on. So let's have a little decibel demonstration. What are we picking up there? So it's over 70. I saw 80 flash there. Anyway, I put the real decibel time on the score on the screen because I will play it back in slow motion. I'm going to use the GW-B5600 as the G-Shock to test the alarm because I found this to be the loudest in my collection. So how to force the alarm on this one? Just go to Alarm, like so, and then press button D with a long press, and then you force the alarm like so. So let's get this in position and give it a test. I will play it in slow motion and find the correct number, and then I shall post it. So I shall shut up and put this down by the microphone and see how this compares. So for a 40-year-old watch, it has beaten the G-Shock, but it was an unfair advantage because the G-Shock is a 200-meter water-resistant watch. Plus, it doesn't have the cuckoo holes like this one. I'm now going to go off camera and clean all the fluff behind the glass and really make it look beautiful, because this is a very fine example and I want it to look its best. It's also very, very sort of hard to find the square version of this. The round version you do find them, but this one is very hard. So I've got my work cut out because I need to find a replacement crystal for this one, and it's not easy. In fact, I can't find one as of yet. And the movement I'm going to have to take apart and really find out what has actually been damaged from that battery leakage. So it's quite a shame. So top tip, don't leave those batteries in these watches. Anyway, I hope you sort of enjoyed that sort of, well, the alarm side for one, and I hope you weren't deafened if you're wearing headphones. Anyway, that's my little brief tutorial on probably one of the very first sort of videos on this Seiko. As always, that's the time. Thanks for watching.